Get that going there.
All right, cool. So am I live for sure?
Yes.
Cool. All right, welcome to CyberUC meeting 56. Wow, we're getting up there now. We're covering Wi-Fi today, and Chris is being cryptic about exactly what this is, but it should be interesting.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. All right, there we go. No one's new here. All right, announcements. So we have more headshots up at the website. I think that's from last week.
I just put that. I was just gonna say, everyone in the room here is pretty active. So if you want your headshot on the site, send it to me.
Yeah. So we have a nice section on the site. I don't know if you've seen this. So
it's like the headshot is not just like anyone who comes to the meeting, but like you guys are here every week. So
yeah. So we got all these headshots up now. I'd love to have one of you and Professor Franco. You get you guys on here, so we have an advisor section. Why not? Yep. So we now have ClickUp to manage our lab too. That's also something that I want to show you guys. Probably post a link. Can someone post a link to our ClickUp in here? In the Slack real quick? Oh, you can't just like click it in? Okay.
I think it's just after I click it.
Well, we have a content management system now that we're going to be using for our lab. Just to make sure that we're all staying on track with what we got to do. I need everybody to get on that. We're going to send you guys emails, or honestly, Hayden or Chris or one of you guys with your laptop, you want to pass it around and just have people put their email in, just so we can all be on ClickUp and we can all be caught up and up to date with what we got to do. So Towson University is on our Slack now. We have their point of contact from their cybersecurity club up there. So I'm thinking about setting up a channel so that students from Towson's cybersecurity club can hop on our Slack and we can have discussions about collaborations and maybe running some CTFs between each other in the future. So that'll be really awesome. This is something that I talked about last week, but I think there's been more on it, and I know Vicki might want to talk about some things here in a second. That's the CAECO NSA funding opportunity. Are you going to cover a little bit more on that then? Yeah. Other than that, for my announcements, I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to here, and we'll let you take away the rest of the announcements.
All right. For those who don't know me, I'm Vicki Baker. I'm the UC Director of Cyber Initiatives here. UC Cyber is 4 colleges and 5 departments, so we have a pretty broad base. I came today because I just spent the last week with the NSA, and one of the things we're looking for you guys are scholarships. And I think we found some scholarships. They will run just like the Scholarship for Services. For every year you receive a scholarship, you will have to pay back working for a company paid. But when they give you your scholarship, it pays for all your tuition and fees. It pays you more in a stipend, even as an undergrad, than the graduate students at UC get. And when you finish, you will be offered a job at that, wherever you're at, whatever the alphabet you are at. So it's highly competitive. Our SEAL, our NSA SEAL, is willing to help us with applications. It's wonderful for our students, so I want to start looking into that with all of you. The other thing that's coming up is NSA internships. The applications are due the end of September, so now's the time to start writing them. And again, our NSA SEAL is offering to help us with your applications, so you're not rejected for filling something out wrong, which has happened. So if you are interested in a summer internship, paid internship next year, let's get together and we'll start figuring that out, okay? The NSA CAE, Center for Academic Excellence in Cyber Operations, has 2 different grants that are due the end of this month. So you're not going to see a lot of faculty who are working on it because they only gave us 3.5 weeks to write these grants. One is on research, and right now Richard Hartnett, who's the department head for political science, is writing one with Seth Ham, who is working at Cedarville University north of Dayton, and they just received their CAECO last week. And so it has to be a collaborative grant and research. They're working on cyber policy at a very high level, and Dr. Franco is writing a grant for competitions. So he's also reaching out with the National Guard, trying to merge the club with some guardsmen who have real strong military backgrounds in cyber competitions, and to see what we can come up with. So if you want any more information, reach out to me. I'm always available. My office, unfortunately, is in Crosley on the 11th floor. The elevators have been out. You're going to hike a lot of stairs, but they're working finally. Come and see me, and let me see what I can do to help you, okay? So that's all I've got.
Awesome. Thank you, Vicki. And I definitely going to reach out and get more information on that, and we'll present it to the club. Cool. And then that's going to be huge, too, because I don't know about you guys, but having someone that's willing to help out with NSA internships, it's pretty awesome. All right, cool. Nothing new in public affairs. So weekly content. Cliff, you want to take it away, my man?
Yeah, sure. I'm filling in for Corey this week. So, there we go. All right, so this there was an article that the Hacker News. The Hacker News released earlier this week, and they were talking about how some companies are moving towards active threat hunting. And so there was a company called Cato Networks, CATO, they're a cloud service provider, and they were just analyzing a bunch of the traffic from all of their clients and trying to do intrusion detection on just hunting overall, and they were able to automate some of the process and identify some bot patterns just through the traffic on the network. So that was pretty cool. Apple banned crypto mining apps from their store. So if you got paid a cryptocurrency for downloading an app, or if you actually mined off of an iPhone, that's off, that's out. And I believe that's on the Macs too.
Google made a ban on the Chrome Web Store last week.
Yeah, and Twitter is planning on blocking crypto mining ads. So it seems like everyone's kind of going that way. Wells Fargo just banned cryptocurrency transactions earlier this week too. Seems like everyone's kind of not a big fan of cryptocurrency right now. There was a Mac signature bug, or validation bug, and it wasn't actually a part of the operating system, but a poor implementation done by third-party security app developers. So it was the same issue with, I think there were 7 different pieces of software that all had the same bug, but essentially they would make unsigned code appear to be signed on Apple computers. So that would seem pretty serious, but it wasn't Apple's fault, so they couldn't really do anything about it other than warn the developers. And then
the list of affected vendors is on our website. That's where the link is for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for the recommended reading, there's something about developers that leave the Android debugging symbols in their apps when they release them live. You can get root really easily and install malware on Android devices. US now houses the fastest supercomputer. A company beat out China's supercomputer, and it's called Summit.
Really? What's the? Click on the link real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I'm interested in how fast this supercomputer is.
Very.
200,000 trillion calculations per second.
That's pretty quick.
Holy crap!
It's a weird way to state that number. Why wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I want to hear how many flops.
Well, they've got that down there, but I just meant 200,000 trillion. Why not just say 200 quadrillion?
Yeah. Keep going. But where's the flops?
It said 93 petaflops.
That's insane.
So,
No, that's the.
Oh, that's the one they beat.
Oh, we're at 200 petaflops.
Wow.
That's over double the fastest one.
That's pretty quick. That's a lot.
A lot of flops.
Yeah,
There's a lot of flops.
I guess Moore's law isn't dead yet.
It's pretty well into the grave at this point.
Well, hey, look at double.
And then there was a lot of Ethereum was stolen over the past year from just poorly configured mining setups. So that's the other link.
There was another article I read. I know it's not up here, but there was like a ton of money thefted in cryptocurrencies just this past year. Bitcoin accounted for like over $1 billion equivalent dollars stolen in cryptocurrencies just from like hacking exchanges and stuff.
Yeah, there's actually a really cool, or not, it's interesting at least, a method of stealing cryptocurrency. It's a piece of software that gets installed on your either as a browser extension or just on the operating system, and it just keeps track of the clipboard. And whenever you have something copied into your clipboard that looks like a valid wallet address, it will replace that wallet address with the hacker's wallet address. So you just send money right to them.
Malicious
That's
extensions.
evil.
Yeah, that's cruel.
Malicious extensions on browsers is
Yeah.
Those. Cool.
Because no one's going to type those in. They're really long. And that's it for content.
Cool. All right. So Chris, Wi-Fi. Why? Fuck.
Yes, we need everything over. All right. So we went over wired networks. I think at the beginning of last fall semester. Pretty simple. TCP, IP. I think everyone in here is familiar with that pretty well. So when you go from wireless or from wired to wireless networks, basically you just do it over radio. So it means it's open air. Anyone can listen to what you're doing, which means by default you're also going to try to encrypt just about everything you do. So WEP, WPA is all set up encryption-based systems. And then instead of a physical connection, it's obviously proximity-based. So you're only limited by how much power you can shove into a radar before the FCC comes and gets you. So just add a new layer to your stack. 802.11 is also referred to as .11, and that is the standard for pretty much all Wi-Fi commonly used today. Here's the different standards and their speeds. Not super important for what we're doing.
We looked at AC.
Yeah. In AC, the newest.
Yeah, that's
that can do like over a gig, right?
Yeah, it's super duper fast.
This is just from the book, so it might be a couple years old.
Well,
Yeah. I think AC reaches up to like 2 gigabits now. It's pretty fast.
it's definitely it's like at least 1.5 gigabits.
1.5?
It's
Alright.
fast.
Is it using both bands when it does that, or just one?
It's probably one band. I have a 802.11 AC router at my house.
Alright.
It's over
This is
5.
the most trivial details you're getting into.
Alright. And then the encryption standards. WEP, if you know what WEP is, you know it's broken, because if you just sit and listen to traffic for a while, you can find a WEP key pretty easily. It just uses way too short encryption keys. WPA came out to replace that. It uses 124-bit keys, which is a strange number. It's less vulnerable, but it and WPA2 are also vulnerable to crack, which is key reinstallation attack, which came out, fall or spring of this year. Pretty recent.
Couple months at least.
A couple months ago. Not too long ago. So that's out there.
The book doesn't have AC, but it does have crack.
What?
The book that you got me from doesn't
No,
have
I
AC.
put that on there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have AC. I don't know. That's a trivial detail. So, the Airmon suite, Aircrack suite, can actually just listen to WP, and after about 10 minutes, you can just find your key pretty easy. So, 802.11, instead of calling them packets, they call them frames, but for all intents and purposes, just the same thing, except frames also includes how how the client connects to the access point. So you kind of split that up into 3 categories. There's management frames, which are really interesting. That's how your client says, I want to connect to this router, and the router says, okay, here's half of the key, and then they establish the Dilly Helphin exchange. And then control is just how the different radios talk to each other. So they'll queue up different transmissions and they'll switch channels. That's kind of boring, but still kind of interesting at the same time if you just want to take a lot of networks offline. It isn't really that helpful. And then data is obviously just user data. That's all the fun stuff, except it's always encrypted. And then inside of that encryption is probably more encryption, so probably not a viable way to go if you're just going to play with things. Although that would be your best target if you're trying to get stuff. And the frame contents, obviously for management frames, you're pretty much just looking at your your IP frames. So it's your MAC address, your station names, and your probe requests. A probe request is when you turn on a phone after it's been asleep, and it's like, I'm looking for coffee shop Wi-Fi, and it sends out a probe request for coffee shop Wi-Fi. So you can actually listen to those, and then you can respond to them and say, I'm coffee shop Wi-Fi, and have things join you that way.
That's how Wi-Fi pineapples work.
Yes, that is. Control, again, that's just how the radios are talking to each other. It's nothing super interesting there unless you're trying to do an overflow. And the data, user data again. So 802.11 exploiting the management frames is actually really easy, because up until like the most recent standard, they were not encrypted, and they're really, really hard to encrypt, because if you think about what they are, they're how the encryption is established. So it's not exactly the best thing to encrypt. Hayden, where's the...
Oh, are you trying to...
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Right. I gotta show something about that.
You messed up this week. Let me. Cam card. No, it's over here. Someone extend. All right.
Please come up. Oh, you know what? I forgot to test this. I bet. I'm always supposed to test it because it's basically there are 2 cables and you have to guess which one is the right one. And I think I guessed wrong, and I forgot to check.
That one turned to color, but then it turned out.
Hey, there we go.
All right. So this is a Wi-Fi module. This is basically just the Wi-Fi chipset on a piece of PCB, and you've got protocols you can talk with on a hardware level. Not super interesting for what we're doing, but pretty neat that it's just like $7 you can have a Wi-Fi module that does basically everything the standard. And then
I didn't know this was a thing. That's awesome. I thought you had to buy like...
Now this is, with IoT rising, these are getting super cheap. You can probably buy them in bulk for like 50 cents each.
Yes,
This
my
is-
D-offer up there. That's
Yeah, I have my
essentially
own
that.
too. So then we go a step up. We say we want to put that on a board that we can control it with. You know what Arduino is? This is basically that same Wi-Fi chip shoved onto an Arduino, and this actually runs like JavaScript code or something weird. It's interesting, but again, it's very cheap. They're like $8 each. You can buy them in bulk, and then because it can do everything in the standard, it can abuse the standard. So we go up another level, and this is a project on GitHub called YPone. So rather than talk about it, I'll just show you. I have one with me here that we're going to play with.
Crab legs.
I call it crab legs. It's pretty obvious what it is. I never forget it. So
This is different than mine.
is it? It's pretty much the same thing. It does the exact same exploit.
Yeah,
So I actually got to turn on my big station.
it just has Google's material.
I brought my own router with me again today. If someone would like to join GLAR150, the password is goodlife. I'll write it up on the board.
Is joining this network a good idea?
I literally just reset it. There's nothing bad on it. Password is...
So I'm not
Goodlife.
joining crab legs.
No, this is GLAR150.
I'm looking for it.
It's like a bunch of letters and numbers. And that's the password.
It hasn't showed up yet. It's probably still.
Yeah, I just turned it on. Oh, yeah, it's a... Let's go ahead and... So over here on the right side, we've got our ESP module. So basically what we're doing is we're listening for management frames, which are both beacons. So a beacon is a management frame that the Wi-Fi access point is basically like, I'm the coffee shop Wi-Fi, everyone can join me. But it just advertises basically its not its signal string, its name, its MAC address, and what type of encryption scheme it uses, or authentication scheme. So if we look in here, we see a lot of UC stuff, but I don't see mine. Scan that again. Alright, so here's our network, GLAR150. I should actually
Just GOODLA.
take these a little bit further away from each other.
Yeah, also something to note on these DDoS attacks or whatever, you've got to be on the same channel.
Yes, you do have to be on the same channel. So the ESP module, because it's so cheap, is only limited to 2.4 gigahertz, which is actually like stupidly mass-produced as a chipset. So you can just, you know, it's sense to use. So this actually will not work with this board against a 5 gigahertz network. Pretty simple way to protect yourself is just to buy a new router, I guess. Also update your router. So we're going to select this network on this interface and go over to users. So now we're going to listen to management frames going to and from devices with this router's MAC address and in the management frame. So if people have connected, this will work. If not, nothing will show up.
Is someone connected?
I'm connected.
All right.
So something like
It's not the fastest thing in the world.
yeah.
Oh no. It also might not work for this because I'm using OpenWRT. Oh, cool.
Oh, there it
of course.
is.
All right.
So I think the Apple's me.
Does anybody know their MAC address? Because then we can target just you.
Alright, I'm the Apple.
You're the Apple?
I'm for sure the Apple.
You're 3C15?
Do you know your MAC address? Is this a thing people memorize?
Just, I have config, man.
That's what I've done.
We can all find our MAC
it.
address.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
me.
know by heart.
3C15,
You said it like
C2.
That's you? Alright,
Yeah,
this is AJ, so we're going to kick AJ off the network in a little bit. I just rescanned. That's not
Oh,
what I
shoot.
want to do. It's too late. We gotta wait like 30 more seconds. Press the wrong button.
You can even see the number of packets sent. That's cool. That's something
Yeah.
that mine doesn't do.
I think that's just within the scanning time frame, so you get like 30 seconds. Yeah, it changes. So here's where it's coming from. So that's AJ's device. Because, you know, Apple, if you haven't changed your MAC address, the left side of this should be the same as any Apple device with that card in it.
The
It's
first
really the
two
card.
octets.
Yeah, the first two.
Apple has like a lot of MAC addresses though. at this
Apple
point.
has a lot of hardware providers, so it really depends on the provider. So this is also connected to our network that we just set up. So now we're going to go over to attack and we can play with everything. So we can send DAuth beacons, frames, which is a management frame that's not encrypted. It really should be. But basically, the access point gets a choppy signal usually, and it says, hey, device, disconnect and then reconnect. And then we can just spam the disconnect part, and he won't be able to reconnect because his hardware will tell him not to reconnect. So AJ,
And the thing is even if I had Wi-Fi
yeah,
right now, like searching, it would say I'm connected, but it still wouldn't be. I still wouldn't be able to search anything.
it's got a few seconds delay on it, but it works immediately. It's really just the UI on the operating system needs to update. So whenever that putters out, tell us. It should be off.
Yeah, I mean I'm not getting anything, and I can.
Yeah. So again,
And I can't connect to it.
it's just part of the standard that allows you to do this. It's not very simple. We're sending 15 packets a second, and the average card can send like 1,000 a second. It's not super complicated. All right, we'll turn your internet back on. Maybe. There we go. So another thing we can do is beacons. We can advertise a lot of access points that don't exist that people can join. So if we do cyber is great. We can save a lot of these beacons up, and then we can go back up here. We can basically just iterate through those and send out the beacon frames. So if you wait like 10 seconds and then check your available Wi-Fi signals, you should see about 40 or so that say cyber is great.
I was running something like this when we were doing recruitment.
Yeah. Let's see if it shows up. Yeah.
Yeah, we should just have everyone in the club walk around with
With
one of
these
these that's
chips.
saying, "Come to Rhodes 850D on Wednesdays" or whatever. Like-
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, there we go. Cyber is great.
It's really a good idea.
Yeah.
It's
A
harmless.
little bit of harmless mass marketing if you just limit it to like a few beacons.
And limit to whoever checks their Wi-Fi, actually.
Yeah, because not everyone's checking the Wi-Fi every second.
The really awful thing you could do is get like a really powerful NFC thing, and if people have phones set to automatically open NFC links, just spam like cyber@udc.org, and people will just be unable to use their phones because it'll keep opening that
A
link.
directional beam like laser.
Like my phone, it automatically prompts me for NFC. I don't have to turn it on or anything.
So the interesting part about this GitHub project, this implementation of this use is
The CSS didn't load.
yeah, the CSS is low apparently. All right, there we go. We can actually detect people who are trying to do this to us. So if we want to buy these boards and just leave them around campus and run detection on them and have them email us if something goes wrong, we can actually send a network across campus and map out anyone trying to do this. And I think they actually do that with GPS now. It's a little bit more feasible.
Mine does not have this.
Mine has this.
Hayden, have a good time.
Bye, Hayden.
Yeah.
Go to Scotland.
Really?
Hayden?
Yeah, it's going to
What do you
Scotland.
mean to do that with GPS?
What?
What do you mean to do that?
So
with
this
GPS?
doesn't have anything to do with GPS, but if you want to detect people blocking signals, GPS is a good thing to detect people are blocking because it's so vital.
Right.
But people's Wi-Fi is a little bit less vital than GPS. That's debatable now, I guess. But yeah, so these are like $8 boards. You can buy them in bulk for $2 each, I think, from the manufacturer. If you wanted to spread a whole node network across campus, it would probably cost about $100 practically, just for CEAS maybe. And then we could actually map out anyone trying to do this instantly.
So this will detect other people doing DOps.
Do you want to run it on yours?
You have mine right up there.
Oh, I'm gonna throw it to you.
I kind of do.
Let me spare cable. Do you have cable?
Keep this little USB power thing.
Yeah. See if this actually. I've never tested this, so it never works.
Let's see if it works.
Detect your channel, all channels. Oh, this is meant to just should turn on a light in the GPIO whenever the LEDs will be.
So it turns on a light on the board when it
Yeah.
detects somebody else DOPing.
This one turns on one of the GPIO pins, so we could just like have an LED flash or something to go around. But I guess you could do more interesting stuff with that if you hook up to like a Raspberry Pi or a meter or something. Have it just start screaming.
But you can keep going on the next part while I get this set up.
Alright. The next part is just the pineapple, which is a little more involved to set up. Although I can just show up and knock off them. Turn that on without killing everything.
And the Wi-Fi Pineapple also has built-in capabilities of doing DOP detect.
Yeah, this is all super low level. It's just the protocol. This is like built into the stuff. You just gotta extrapolate it, which is what they've done here. It's really nice UI. And this is all just running from this chip. It's just an IoT chip. Right. I don't know if we'll be able to see this once we started it. Did you? Restart device to return to normal.
All right, wait. I'm selecting your network, and then I'm going to stations. We'll do a quick scan for like 30 seconds. Start.
Yeah. Does anyone happen to have an LED with them?
No.
Well, shouldn't it do it on the board?
I don't know. I've never played with the
GPIO
board.
alert pin too. There's probably.
Yeah, GPIO 2 is typically the LED, so just go for it.
All right. Now, do you lose connection to yours when you scan?
It doesn't lose connection, it just stops responding for a second, but I guess technically yes.
Mine, I lose connection.
You have to realize this is all being served over the same interface that you're attacking with. If you're scanning with.
Yeah.
So
All right.
there's just a little bit of throttling on the network.
Alright, and I'm gonna run my D-Alpha attack now.
Alright. Going?
This is starting. So,
Because this is just a web-based UI, you can actually do this from just a phone too. So if you have like a mobile battery in your pocket, no one would ever know. I got nothing. I don't know how the LEDs work in this board, but.
oh well. I don't know how this is working.
Yeah.
This is a experimental in meeting thing.
Alright.
So, whatever.
Guess we're done with
It was
that.
worth checking out.
Neat. Alright, let me jump the networks real quick. So, oh crap, Hayden left. I guess we don't need the next slide. Alright, it's not going to show. So,
You guys call me if you need it, okay?
yeah.
I gotta go.
Alright.
Frank, go do some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just let me know what you guys need, you know. We gotta go make some money. Got some ideas.
Yeah.
Evolve happens, let's make some bucks,
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
There's all kinds of cool ideas. Students will pay you to do strange things. They will.
I think we have some good connections too.
I do too, I too. It was nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Okay? I will see you soon. So, take care.
Thanks for
Sorry
stopping
me.
by. So I'm gonna shoot you an email.
Shoot me an email and then I'll shoot you something that you can send out on the email to everybody.
Cool.
Okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay.
See you, Vicky. Thanks for coming in.
Goodbye, Vicky.
Thanks, guys.
Alright, so if we want to go just from doing like singular frames to emulating a whole access point that we control, and possibly have man in the middle built in, that's called a rogue access point. So we're just going to go up a level in our complexity here. We're still at the same protocol level, kind of. So examples of this are the Wi-Fi Pineapple, which is a more commercial option. They're about $150 each. There's a picture of them on the right. They're those little black things. The one on the left, I think we have here. This funny looking thing. And then if you want to not spend $150, you can spend like, I think they're actually $20 now, on a travel router. And then you can go over the firmware built into it with the same firmware on the Wi-Fi Pineapple. And because they're typically the same hardware, just cheap Wi-Fi modules, it actually works. Especially this AR150 router. This is almost the exact same hardware on the Nano, which is a little one. So, let me switch networks again, and we'll show off.
You can attack routers with your router.
You can attack routers with your router. We've come full circle.
There we go.
That was not the
Has
address.
science gone too far?
Has science gone too far? Alright. Let's use that 16.
Where'd everybody go?
So, this software is called the Pine AP, which is what Pineapple comes from, I believe. If it'll load. Maybe.
Fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
Let me.
Good
Check.
port. You gotta do the correct port, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, what's the port?
It's like 141 or something.
Oh, God. Oh, it's right there. I saved it. Yeah. Mine doesn't actually work, so the password doesn't do anything. I broke it when I started it. So, at our dashboard, we're just going to see some general stuff about our hardware. It's been running for 5 minutes, I guess. Not a whole lot of interesting stuff there. Client's connected. Because this is basically a router, you can grab people in and see what you're doing, how well you're doing it. I haven't really played a lot with anything else in here. Recon is basically the scanning from what we just did previously. And then Pine AP has a lot of stuff in it. Mine doesn't actually work because I broke it.
How?
I broke it.
How'd you break it?
I broke it.
Did you just broke it?
I broke it at the firmware level. I
My
need to reflash
Pine
it.
AP works.
Mine doesn't work. But I don't want to play with yours.
Hmm?
You want to play with yours?
Well, I mean, everything that you're showing here, show mine too. I just have to get my cable and shit.
I got it. You can unplug it.
Touche.
was gonna say typically I use these because it needs two.
Yeah.
One for power and one for
Network.
network.
I'm gonna have to show up the network for it. So, yeah. That's pretty much what we just showed you, though. It's more complex level. So you can basically do all that, and then you can scoop people into your network, and then you can man the middle of their traffic. A little simpler. Again, you can detect this if we go back with our DF frames. If you find any DF frames that more than a certain rate, you can be pretty sure someone's doing this to you.
I mean, you can save MAC addresses
Yeah.
of people you see. You can save other SSIDs you've seen, so you want to emulate it. I mean, you could do a lot with this. And what's really nice about the Wi-Fi Pineapple too is that you can get packages to add onto this functionalities.
Yeah.
We could spend some meetings just doing stuff with it too.
Let's do that.
Should probably do that.
I can put like OpenWRT back on the router. We can have tunes go back and forth. Yeah, that's about it. A little new here.
Tracking's really good. Track.
Tracking.
So like, if you this is a good way of like getting everybody that's been connected and keeping track of them. Really, it's just nice for like logging. The networking section. So this is where you'd actually configure your Pine AP. You can see you can have your management access point and then your actual access point. So your AP management SSID and then your open SSID. Your open SSID would be your Pine AP, which you would let people connect to. So you can name it like Starbucks Wi-Fi, or whatever the hell you want. The client mode, Wi-Fi client mode, gets kind of wonky sometimes. It's really just getting the proper IP table set up on this piece of hardware.
Yeah. You gotta do some funny stuff with this to get it like actually functioning. You have to route USB from your host machine to run TCP over USB to the device, or else it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
With whole phone teachers. Kind of wonky, but it works. Yeah.
That's nice.
You can run Docker on it if you want it. Probably not. And then, if you don't want to do that, and you literally just want a router that has man in the middle on it, for whatever reason, I'm going to turn this off, AJ, I'm sorry. It's gone.
It's fine.
We go back to that router we were using earlier. It actually runs basically a version of Linux that's been super slimmed down for routers. I don't think I put it on here. Yeah. It's called OpenWRT, and you get all these crazy packages to use with it. It's basically a full Linux installation. Oh. Give me a second. So, put Nmap on your router. Go to wireless. I think Aircrack is on here. Kismet, Reaver.
Kismet drone.
Let's see what it does.
Huh.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. I wonder if it's for like parrots, bebops. Take them out of the air. Just have one of these in your pocket and watch the drones fall
Yeah.
when you go to the parks.
I mean, well, if they're communicating over,
I don't know if you guys see the antenna on those. That's
dude, that would have been perfect for the drone presentation.
just automatically.
De-off the drone.
Frankie did it, man.
That would have been perfect for the.
I mean,
Frankie wanted to do it.
probably
The
not, like, not just drop dead. Nobody's
That would be
gonna
crazy.
But I mean, you could completely deny them
Yeah.
any control over it.
You can actually de-auth someone from their drone, and because it's all over Wi-Fi, you can connect with your phone and take over the drone.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You just gotta be ready.
Some of the drones have, try to go back home when they can't connect to the
Yeah.
controller anymore. And so if there's a building in the way, sometimes they'll just go right to the building. It's kind of funny.
Interesting. Smart drones aren't that smart.
Yeah.
Parrots are pretty smart. The parrots. Phantoms are pretty smart. So, here's what the... Yeah, this is... Got some more stuff on it because it's like a weird Chinese version.
A lot of options of languages there.
I just reset this before I brought
Have
it.
English or some other language right there.
Where are we? We're here.
Dude,
Oh, I can just click.
Sitka.
I think we're here. Alright. I got password. Password.
And this isn't the real OpenWRT yet.
No, this is just an interface that the company that makes this block puts over it. Yeah. But here's the actual WRT. So we can actually SSH into our router. It's kind of neat. 2.168.8.1 root. It's not the fastest thing, but we can do it. I think. Yeah. Oh, no.
You gotta remove the key from your.
Alright. You can do it if you haven't done it with multiple ones already, but it's too late now. Yeah, so just like the pineapple, somewhere. Software. Yeah. You can just put a whole bunch of Linux packages on here. It's basically a tiny pocket Kali after a point. You are kind of limited on space. You only get 7.5 megabytes. But you know, you can do a lot with that. Yeah. There's interesting stuff on here by itself too.
Yeah, I mean, I think OpenWRT also has support for getting packages for black holing domains and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you guys want
I
to,
mean, DNS mask is built into here, so it
yeah,
wouldn't be
there
a
is
step.
DNS mask. Yeah.
That's just on the
That's
default
it.
list. That's how you're. That's your implementation of DHCP right there.
So if you want a cheap firewall,
Yeah.
get one of these guys. I have one.
I think by default, there's also the hardware switch on it. It toggles an OpenVPN instance. So all your traffic going through it will be routed through OpenVPN. You just have to add a server.
This is what I use at my house as my OpenVPN.
Yeah.
Like router, just so I don't have to do their stupid device limits. Screw your device limits.
What?
You know, a lot of VPNs will limit how many devices you can have.
For OpenVPN? Or
Well,
any other
it depends. It depends. You can use OpenVPN for a VPN paid service, you know, and a lot of these services will limit you to like
Okay,
5
yeah.
devices at a time. But if you buy it on a router, you
Yeah.
put it on a router, then it doesn't matter. You can have all your devices on it.
Yeah. A little bit of net tricks there.
Yes.
All right. I think that's all I have to show tonight. Anyone have any interesting things they want to share? No.
Nothing off the top of my head.
All right.
I've got a question though. So can you put the Wi-Fi pineapple on any router?
No. It has to be certain chipsets and certain, like the chipsets for the Wi-Fi cards, and also certain processors. It does not port to everything,
Right.
because when you get it, it's either you have to be able to compile it to that processor,
Right.
and not all processors can handle that.
But the Nano isn't 150; it's 99.
Yeah.
So-
I got this compiled for the 150. So
Really?
yeah.
The Tetra?
What? What?
The Wi-Fi pineapple is $150. It's not $150. It's
Oh, yeah.
$99.
I was talking about firmware. This is the 150.
Oh.
The processor, or not the processor, the model.
Oh. Okay.
Whatever processor on there. There's a GitHub where someone pre-compiled it and you can just throw it on. Probably is the best way to do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
If you can compile it for a target, you can put it there.
Right.
You just have to be able to put new firmware onto it, which not all routers let you do that for very obvious reasons.
How much are those GlideNet routers again? They're like what?
Like $20, they're cheap.
I was gonna say.
You can also just use them as routers and repeaters. I think I gave one to my parents.
We should reach out to GlideNet. Get a partnership.
Partnership with GlideNet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toy routers.
I think they started as a like a Kickstarter or something. Pretty cheap little boards.
What website do you get that Wi-Fi module?
Which one?
The
It's
Uber one?
this module is called the ESP8266. You can get it from pretty much any IoT distributor. This is from SparkFun for $6, $7. You can probably get it cheaper if you go through other places, but honest to God, it's just pennies. Like the other, I paid $8 for this board, so if I paid that much, I would pay $1 for the board and just put them together.
Do we have internet?
I don't have internet with the other router.
Wait. Give me internet.
Yeah. Going.
I'm gonna show you guys another quick tool, and then
There you go.
wrap things up. I just want to show this because I thought it was really cool when I found it. I think they're already sold out.
What are they? Wi-Fi cactus. Oh, there's a version of.
That's not the Wi-Fi cactus I'm thinking about.
There's like a ripoff of the Pine AP, which is weird because it's open source, called the Pumpkin AP, and you can put that on a Raspberry Pi without doing a whole lot of work. But you do need different Wi-Fi cards because the Pi 3, it has Wi-Fi built in, but the chipsets do not do what you need them to do. So I think I actually have that in the browser tab somewhere. Maybe not.
Yeah, so this has the Wi-Fi chip, that ESP21 or whatever, on a USB stick that is essentially the same as the USB rubber ducky. So this is a USB where you can remotely enter keystrokes into whatever you plug it into. So you can plug it into something and then boom.
Wow.
Instead of having it on an SD card that automatically executes some command lines, you can connect to it and execute your command lines.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of that little chip, that little ESP chip, that Wi-Fi chip is freaking awesome.
Just some more Wi-Fi stuff. There's Scapy, which is a Python library for playing with a lot of wireless stuff.
We need to do a Scapy thing.
Yeah, we should just do an entire thing on Scapy because there's just so much there. It has like the entire .11, like all the frames are built in, so you can just play with it however you want.
So you can like do ARP spoofing with this,
Yeah.
set yourself up as a man in the middle, like all through code. You can figure out and understand the entire process. I think that'd be cool.
The only limitation on that is to use everything Scapy has. Like most of the Wi-Fi stuff, you have to have specialized chipsets that let you do that. Not all chipsets will let you broadcast. Not all chipsets will let you, just send arbitrary data out. Yeah. So I think they have a list somewhere on the Aircrack website.
And you were talking about magnifying, deauthenticating stuff, right?
What? Magnifying?
Like back.
Oh, yeah.
Like
So
10 minutes ago?
I saw this thing. It was like a Dish TV antenna. It was one of these huge things, and someone basically hooked it up to a ridiculous amp, like an amp that they should not have had. And they could just point it in a building and it would take all the Wi-Fi off the building. Nothing was safe from it. And then you can even go a little bit further with that. Yagi antennas.
Probably got a call from the FCC.
Yeah. They sell Yagi antennas for Wi-Fi.
We have Yagi. We have that one
We have
right there.
This one?
High gain. No.
Other one?
Go back to the other one. Go back.
This one.
That one. Yeah, we have
We
that
have
one.
that.
Yeah, these.
I have that to play with. I just haven't played with it
Yeah.
yet.
You'll see these a lot outdoors in like traffic stops. They'll put these on not traffic stops, traffic cameras. They'll put these on traffic cameras so they can actually get a connection. Usually it's GSM and not Wi-Fi, so basically a cell phone. But they'll point it at the nearest tower. So these things are like stupidly powerful in one direction. Directional antenna, obviously.
But what's nice about having something like this is a little USB dongle that'll show up as a wireless adapter on your computer, and this is the proper
It's just a
components
common radio
to basically set up an antenna. So yeah, this is cut for the 802.11 band, and you basically just however long you want to make this. If you want to make different antenna designs and stuff, you can pretty much build your own one of these just from this guy right here.
How big is that?
How big is that thing?
Radio signals will also propagate further in dry, non-humid environments. So there's always competitions out. Not always. There's competitions out in the desert every now and then. They'll basically have a base station and an antenna, and they'll drive away from it until they lose signal. And I think the record was like 35 miles last year. It's
Holy
crazy. But there's like nothing impeding you.
Huh?
What's the range on this one?
This, I don't know.
Probably says.
It's usually about half what you listed as, so I'm not saying.
I mean, probably at least like
It's probably
a mile.
pretty long, but you have to point it. You have to like really focus this on what you're doing. The farther you get away.
It's very directional.
Yeah.
because every single one of those nubs on there.
If you're like
So
right
back
here
one.
on this antenna, it's not going to pick you up. You have to be directly in front of it.
Make it smaller and smaller as you go up.
Yeah, antennas are fun. We should do. Nathan, how's SDR coming?
It's going pretty good. I'm still waiting on some parts to come in.
What do you mean waiting on some parts?
What?
What?
Like I need a flash drive to put an operating system on, and then I need like an RC stuff to like do stuff, like an RC car or something.
Okay. You can just, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's lots of radio.
You get like $20 Amazon. Gotcha. So yeah, like I don't know. Since we're pretty like, you know, it's a pretty chill meeting. I kind of want to get a like scope since you know.
Oh wait,
small tennis
yeah, one more thing. Here's this Wi-Fi pumpkin. I'm sorry. This is basically just a clone of pineapple that you can put on a Raspberry Pi. I think it's for Raspberry Pis.
What?
Or really,
Share that
just
shit.
any system.
Dude, share that.
I just stumbled across this today. Actually, I found a.
What? That's
Let's
awesome.
start that. I found. Look at my stars real quick. We're doing the stars meeting right now. I was looking up stuff for this meeting, and I found Wi-Fi Arsenal. These are all projects just for exploiting wireless systems. And this guy just collects them, I guess. And he has a lot just in this
Holy
folder.
crap.
Like, they're not even documented. He has so many. So, if you
Lots
ever,
of tools.
yeah.
Lots of tools.
If you ever need something, it's definitely
Just
in this
commits.
folder. You just need to find it. Kismet, cow patty,
Many new tools.
mass deauth attack. There you go.
These are all like 2 years old.
Yeah,
2 years old.
11 months ago. Sort by date. 2 years ago. Yeah, lots of stuff. A year ago. Guess he hasn't updated for a while. Yeah.
I think you guys have updated it since like 2 months ago, whatever.
He goes over the general categories: DOS attacks, encryption attacks. What's an encryption attack? Oh, decryption attack.
They have does he have a crack attack?
Is he? It's gonna be easier if I just control it.
No.
Nope.
Sad face.
Alright. There's a lot of stuff in there. I'll post that later too.
Is there a crack attack that's like actually like usable? Just
Probably.
because I know that the proof of concept was all. Yeah, I think this is the proof of concept. It's like
I mean, all you gotta do is take the proof of concept and shove something into it. But I think crack is just for listening more than for, you know, sending. So, I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, crack is just for the crack attack. You just listen to forced, not decrypted, but badly encrypted frames. And then you gather enough that you know what you're looking for, and you just decrypt that.
So I'm thinking about some things we can do for meetings where it's not necessarily always this format, but something different that we can do in like smaller groups. So if you guys have anything that's been interesting to you or anything we've covered that we would like to go in depth, just spend one of these days working on something, actually doing something interesting with it, feel free, let me know. I think it'd be cool to maybe do some like testing of the Wi-Fi pineapple, like have us all just see if we can hack ourselves on it.
Let's just do the GitHub stars day. Everyone bring in all your equipment, and then we'll just go through everyone's GitHub stars and find cool stuff.
Yeah,
That sounds like a great idea.
that actually sounds like a fun.
I love going through my stars.
Good.
I go
stuff.
through mine every now and then. I just went through yours. I saw you started something I did. You started my Docker crap. And I was like, I haven't checked any stars for a while.
So I got some good stuff in there. Some interesting stuff in there.
I think that's how I found the Wi-Fi suite. Actually, I followed like something, and I went through something else. You started clicking stuff, man.
It's all about being followed. Cool. All right, guys. Well, anything else?
Here's the AR-150. I guess they went up like $5, but they were
Oh,
20 at the end of last semester.
they were. They even have PoE version.
I think they're all PoE.
Dude, look, PoE version and standard version now.
Standard version PoE. Shit. Yeah.
Huh.
I think they have 4 versions: PoE, not PoE, and then antenna, not antenna. So between that 4.
I have antenna.
Yeah. I have the not antenna and then the antenna one. Pretty handy.
Does your antenna one only have one antenna?
Yeah.
What?
There's actually 2 Wi-Fi cards on it. There's one without an antenna.
Mine has an antenna. Mine has 2 antennas.
I don't know.
I have the black one though.
Oh. The black one's a different one.
That's what
That's,
I have.
I think it's
at
the
my house.
300. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got in my house.
Yeah. That just has I think a 5 gigahertz band on it. Does it?
I don't think so.
No. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I only use it for 2.
Oh, 3G, 4G modem compatible. Oh wait, no, that's not right. Yeah, you can also take your phone and plug it into these and be like, share my Wi-Fi from my phone, and it'll just use this.
Huh.
These are actually pretty built-for devices. They're pretty fun to have.
You can
Wait,
actually
which one?
do a Wi-Fi
This-
hotspot.
do that?
All of them, all the AR series do that. If you just the USB port on them, you plug your phone into it, and you say share my connection over USB, and then it'll broadcast that instead of like a Wi-Fi.
If your phone doesn't have it locked down. I think my phone probably has it.
Mine has it
I
locked
don't
down,
think
but
all phones have
USB
it.
might be able to do it even if it's locked.
You turn on USB debugging.
Possibly. Or if you use another app from the App Store. But
Yeah.
now I'm going to use that in my truck now. Just every time I get in, then because I have an Android car radio.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Something I want to make too is a hack pack. Just like a backpack. And like build it up with like the most
The UC
thing.
Hack Pack.
Yeah. I was gonna say be some interesting
Should make
projects
that,
we could all
and then
go and
that
do.
could be your prize at the next chapter of the flag.
Yeah.
Might
spend
expensive fast.
$1,000 and then just give it away.
Maybe not. Get some sponsors, maybe.
Dude, we need to send in partnership emails.
All right.
Which model series is it?
This is the 300. The white ones are the 150, and then I think the pink ones are 200s. I don't know. You just go to their website; they have a lot more information.
It's good to point out.
Yeah. For making such cheap hardware, it's actually like a really nice website. Why not? Not nice website, but like
Wi-Fi for things.
Wi-Fi for things. These are meant to just be like shoved onto whatever you're doing. They're not like super high quality. Hey. Turn mine off. Yeah, and they even ship with OpenWRT. That's what they advertise them most for.
Which is super nice
Yeah.
because OpenWRT is not easy to get on things. It's definitely harder than DDWRT or Tomato, and in my opinion, it's better than all of them.
You know, you got a Linux distribution that people would basically optimize for Wi-Fi. Why not use it? So, yeah.
It's awesome.
I think they have like 8 different series now.
So which series was it again?
This is the 150.
The one that does the Wi-Fi.
All
All
the
the-
little cube series. So like the 150s, the 200s, the 300s. I think the little mini routers. I think probably all of their models do it because it's OpenWRT. It's not like exclusive to them kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
These are the Atheros chips that everyone's like, you need this to do aircraft. Those are what they are. That's the one. That's
One of the reasons why I have my old computer, my old Lenovo too,
because
is
it has,
it
that
has
chip in it.
chipsets to support this crap. So all you guys talking crap about the fact that I don't have an HDMI cord.
Okay, that's not me. That's Hayden. You just got to get a converter.
Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. The old Lenovo's.
If you're trying to do stuff with Wi-Fi, like one of the hardest things to do is just to like have a chipset rather than buy one. But they're pretty cheap now. So they used to be like $50 a part. It's getting cheaper.
Next time Haynes give me crap, I'm gonna let him know.
Why do you sell them to start with?
There's so many reasons.
This is called the Node MCU, by the way. We kind of glossed over that. It's meant for IoT projects, but it's also internet.
It is internet.
It is internet. You understand? Yeah, it's kind of this weird mix between like C coding and JavaScript. It's kind of weird to look at, but I think you can go back down to C. If you
I
want
think
to.
you have to. I think you can only talk to that over serial too.
What?
The Node MCU.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything, it's got to be over
It
serial.
has to be over serial, but they're not meant to be like interfaced with. They're meant for you to like put a sensor on it and just throw it on a battery and just forget about it forever. And then the specific Wi-Fi module is the ESP8266. These are actually like stupidly versatile. Because you've got I think this is I2C or SPI, which is like the two most common like hardware interfaces that most IoT devices use. So it's like the internet of chips, basically. You say, hey, send this data over Wi-Fi. Like, oh, volume sales pricing. Let's find out.
You guys call them for
I
that?
don't want to call them for that.
Cool.
ESP8266. Most of the things you buy actually are just the Node MCUs that already have them on it. Because no one's really sourcing these.
Man, you can get them even cheaper.
Yeah,
in some
$4.
places.
Light in the Box is great. Have you ever seen Light in the Box? It's like Amazon, but everything on it is a cheap Chinese clone of what you want to buy. So you can buy some cheap stuff on there.
Yeah, sounds like a great way to get spied on. But who cares if you're doing this
I
crap?
mean, I buy Wii controllers on there.
Yeah.
Wii controllers are spying.
The Wii controllers are spying on me. They're memorizing my hand movements.
Yes.
Yeah. So, buy a bunch of cables if you want.
Are we good?
I'm done.
Cool.
I'm just talking.
Yeah.
I got one more slide actually. Yeah. So the biggest software that people use to play with Wi-Fi is Aircrack NG. It's basically it's basically like Linux command line tools for what we just did. It's not anything super big. Scapy, we went over that. And then with Raspberry Pi, you can do whatever you want because, just Linux.
I think Scapy is the way to go if you really want to learn wireless
Scapy
hacking.
and Pi, most people put that together. I think that's what the token is. So,
Scapy and does Pineapple have the Raspberry Pi have the proper chipsets?
no, not the 12-chip one, but you can just get the USBs. But you again have to use USBs for they sell.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Chris. Very informative and very cool. Got a lot of hardware in there today, I guess. So I always want to buy these toys. Shouldn't be buying these toys.
Oh,
Cool.
we might be able to buy
It's
them.
too easy to buy them. They're like $5 each.
All right, guys.
Definitely have that
Well,
budget.
thanks for coming to the meeting. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Let's get to work on this lab next Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have the Rails in by now. Hopefully we'll have the Rails for everything by the end of this week. And then all that's really left is just figuring out tasks and everything. Make sure that we're all on the ClickUp task manager.
Everyone and executives that I've seen in the last 3 weeks, I definitely added, but I may have missed a couple people.
Wait 1 second, let me do this. Who's not on our ClickUp? I don't think you're on ClickUp.
Email, you're not on.
I
added
Just so I can do everything. And that way we can just have
I might have ignored the email then.
we see all of them. We got it.
It's not very obvious what the email is when you get it. How do I stop the live stream? AJ.
Entire me too, man.
AJ!
Also playing all the AWS.
Oh my god.
I'm having trouble uploading the files and stuff.
You're playing AWS?
Yeah.
AWS is fun. What do you want?
How do we turn off the live stream?
The live stream?
Yeah.
You hit stop live stream.
No.
You hit stop streaming. While live stream,